I'm not like I'm like the guy who does exactly that. I don't want to spend like if I'm gonna buy a gift for somebody, I'm
Yeah.
I don't want to be the cheap. I'm not the cheapskate that spends $13,
No.
but I'll go spend the 25 bucks. If I see something for like $13, I'm like I don't want to buy a $13 gift for somebody. If I'm gonna buy the gift, I'm gonna I mean I'm not saying I want to buy a $200 T-shirt for somebody, but I definitely don't want to spend $13. At the very minimum, I'm gonna feel like a cheapskate.
Yeah, I think I think there's a big difference between Amazon FBA and Amazon Merch in the pricing strategies. I think with FBA you can have a lower price and there's a lot of items that people are familiar with and kind of commoditized. But in the custom shirt business, I think people are not as price sensitive, to be honest. I've got some shirts that are listed for $21 or $24 above the 19.99, and they sell about the same rate as some of the other shirts that I've tried at lower prices, like at $14.99 or $13.99. So when I do new shirts, I don't usually go below. I think $14.99 would be the rock bottom price that I would price a shirt at. But normally, a lot of my shirts that I price now are around $16.99, $17.99, 19.99, even 21. I like the 21.99 too.
Yeah, I mean the shirts that we sell, and I mean I'm not always only making $1.71, but I mean I'm on the 500 tier, so I had to have sold at least 100 shirts at some point.
Yeah.
I'm selling them. It's just right now it's not awesome. We sold a bunch for the 4th of July, and then that kind of dropped off, and they sold out.
And were they were 4th of July shirts, Sean?
Yeah, we sold. Yeah, we've got a bunch of fourth. We had a bunch of 4th of July shirts, but then they sold out of all the shirts. So that was not that wasn't awesome because then people were canceling and
Yeah.
whatever else. So
All right, I can see you secretly hit the recording button again. So why don't we do an introduction so that people watching the replay or the watching later on, they didn't catch the live portion, they know what this is about.
right, awesome. So welcome. This is a weekly show we do on print on demand. Not only merch by Amazon, we've actually never talked about merch by Amazon as a topic in the past. A topic with the topping, you might. And so Jacob is the author of a very simply named book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. And I put the link in the chat. The link will be in the description or email or however you're watching this. So he's written a book on a ton of different print on demand sites. What I call, the Bible or the reference book that you really need to be looking at if you want to be selling on print on demand sites. So, and it's not only merch, as I said, Bubble and all those other ones that we're kind of selling on. Jacob's selling on lots of them, and we talk about a different one every single week. But if you want to look at the Bible, the place for referencing all of that stuff, it's his book. Very, very economically priced at somewhere between $1 and somewhere in there. I think maybe around
$57.
57. That's the number I was getting to.
Yeah.
$57. It's only 57 bucks. It's great. It's a huge book. It's got like everything you want to know about every one of those print on demand. And it also talks about, hiring your workout and, hiring VAs and, pricing strategies, as we just mentioned. 7 different pricing strategies. The one that I use isn't even in there. So, you can say 8 different pricing strategies at this point. And
There's tons.
it's great. Awesome.
Yeah. So, so Sean's right. The book goes into all kinds of stuff. Probably the main focus of it is just the generic mechanics of print on demand. It starts out really super simple, guys. If you're not familiar with print on demand or POD, it's super basic. Basically, you make and load your designs. People buy your things. Some magic happens, and you get paid. And the magical part is the platform or the service that you've uploaded your stuff to. It will manufacture the design that you've uploaded onto a piece of clothing. So it's going to be typically what we're talking about in the book is apparel, so t-shirts. But some of those print-on-demand platforms go way beyond apparel. And today we're going to be talking about Merch by Amazon specifically. Merch by Amazon is kind of the big player in the room right now. It's the big platform that people are seeming to get the most sales on per design in terms of volume. It's also on the world's largest platform by default. So it starts, every listing starts and ends on Merch by Amazon, which is right on Amazon.com. It's the largest e-retailer in the USA, which is the largest probably consumer market online right now. So Shawn, normally what we do is we compare whatever pod that we're talking to with Merch by Amazon. This week we're doing Merch by Amazon, so we could just go straight into what it is, but I think maybe we could compare it to some of the other pods.
Right. And before we get started, I really wanted to share something. I don't know if even you've seen this yet, Jacob, but
yeah.
We just built a Chrome extension I just wanted to share with everyone.
Yeah.
And I want to show you how it works for, we do a lot of marketing for our own business, our Amazon business, and our, we do, as most of you guys know, I do training for, different software packages, tactical arbitrage, using Amazon, growing your business and all that. So we do a lot of marketing with Facebook. And so we built a tool for people who are clothing and shoes and different products that have variations, but it also works, as I discovered last night, with Merch by Amazon. So if you want to get all that, and it's a Chrome extension, it's not free, it's $40, $39.99, but it's a lifetime subscription. There's no accessing databases or, that was a big thing that people had mentioned to me. They don't want to have to connect to their API for Amazon and give up all that information and then have their stuff stored on a database so whoever owns it may. So we build a tool that does none of that. You don't have to connect to Amazon. You don't have to, it doesn't connect to any servers. Everything's done on your local computer in the background on the browser. And if you want to do a deep search, if you're an Amazon seller, it'll let you do all that. But if you're selling on Merch by Amazon, and I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but what it does is it's going to pull all your variations and download it into a CSV or a comma-separated spreadsheet. So you could have every variation on your single design. So it'll show you every color and size. Usually when you have the 5, I think it's 66 different variations. If you have the newer, listing, the older ones, of course, will have a lot more because it wasn't limited to 5 colors. So 5 colors, different versions times all, the women's and children and all that. So with the current iteration of the Amazon listings for merch, you usually get 66. Now, if you don't pick 5 colors, you're not going to have that many. But you have 66 variations. It's going to give you every tiled ASIN. It's going to give you, the title, the size, the color, all that information, each one on its own line. So if you want to promote...
Wait, Shawn, what is it called? What's the name of this plugin?
I'm sorry.
What's the name of your plugin?
Oh, it's called Variation Hunter. And I can post the link to it, but I kind of wanted to show everybody what exactly it does. It's just variationhunter.com. You can see all the information, how it works. I'm going to show you how it works. The link is there in the chat. You can go to variationhunter.com. I'm going to try and share my screen, and then we're going to get started.
No, it's okay. It's an exciting new thing that's happening.
I'm like super excited about this, especially because it's a. Oops, so it was on the page.
This is a surprise new extension.
Yeah, we just released. I released it. I told you about in my mastermind group about this a few days ago. So if you guys are from there, you may have seen it, but we really haven't shared it anywhere else. This is one of my shirts I sell for basically break even for my mastermind group. But what it does is you should see these, I hope, up here. These are my extensions. You just click this one button. And what's going to happen is you get this pop-up. It says, gather variations on this product. Now, remember, this isn't just for merch. So if you're an Amazon seller, it works for that too. Any product that has variations. So if it's clothing or shoes or, there's even health and beauty and grocery stuff that does that too. It's not super fast. There's more for like deep research. It'll take a few minutes to do this, but I found one that had almost 900 variations on it, a pair of shoes. That does take a while, but everything's running on your local computer. There's no logging into anything. There's no, uploading stuff. There's no accessing the API. So it's actually loading all these pages individually to get the most amount of information.
So Shawn, you would target this extension to an individual listing that you're interested in finding out all of the scope of that listing? Is that how it would work?
Right. So that's what it does. I'm gonna jump over here and show you. This is the output you get. So it actually creates this. It lets you download. You click one button to start it, one button to download it, and you see here you're going to get all the child ASINs, which isn't super easy to find child ASINs on listings. So this is the same listing. Actually, this is a different listing, but it's another one of my mastermind shirts. And you get all the child ASINs. You get the title, the size, the color, and the fit type for each one of those. So if you want to run an ad and send everybody to a specific size and color, or whatever, mostly for advertising, I would think. I'm sure there's a ton of other uses for it as far as merch goes that I haven't thought of.
You could use it to identify your own ASINs on your own listings. So when somebody tries to hijack your listing and copy you, you'll know which one's yours and which one's theirs, right? Because they can copy everything. They can copy the title, the description, the brand, the image, the price. So by running this tool, you can identify which ASINs are yours. If you're ever concerned about copycat, you know which ones to report and which ones not to report, right?
Yeah.
Potential use.
I've never really reported anybody. We don't have the time for that, but I'm sure if that's a big issue for you, then
it's not for me. No, I don't report people either generally, unless there's really obvious ones. But
not you.
I know some users are. They do have some really hot selling merch by Amazon listings. And when they, once you cross that line, you start getting less than 300,000, and then less than 100,000 in the BSR, less than 50,000. Almost immediately, you're going to have people jumping on the listing and trying to put up shirts that are similar to it. And then you have like the things that everybody hates. They're those pixel for pixel copiers. I hate them. Everybody hates them, but they happen in reality. So if you've ever had a listing that's copied pixel for pixel on the image, but then they copy the entire listing, it's going to be really tough to report it because you don't know which one's yours and which one's theirs. But with this tool, you'll be able to run it on the one that you get from Merch by Amazon, and it tells you the child ASINs, so you'll know which ones are yours and which ones are theirs.
Another thing that I don't know when you're reporting them, if you have to report like multiple things, but you would be able to run not only on your own listings, but you could run this on someone else's listing, and you could send them every version of the ASIN, if that's something you...
Yeah, I think when you report them, you just have to report the one shirt, and they must have that internally. They must have it all linked up like that.
Right, because what is shown here, this ASIN here is not... This isn't actually connected to any shirt. So this really this shirt, if you're not like a big Amazon seller, you don't know this, but there's there's child ASINs and there's parent ASINs. So this parent ASIN that you actually go to the listing for isn't tied to any product when there's variations. When there's variations, there's all the child ones, which you see here, and then this one is the parent ASIN, and it's basically what's linking them all together. So that's not one product, and then they said, well, we're going to link 50 other products to the main product. It's it's a parent identifier, and then every product has their own child identifier, but there's no way to really see that.
So I would say this tool is kind of super advanced, super in depth. If somebody's just learning about Merch by Amazon, do you think we should rewind the conversation a bit and get into some of the basics, or?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about whatever, but let me, so when after it finishes, which it finished a while ago, you just click download. It's gonna, you're in Chrome, obviously, so it's gonna be right there. You can then open it or do whatever you want with it. And that's about it for that. If you want to check it out, I put the link in the chat. Variation Hunter, there's also a version if you have a business partner. I think for like $17 more, you can get a second copy of it. So VA that you don't want to share your account or whatever it is, you can get 2 copies of it, your second copy for only $17 more. Or you have a partner, whatever it is, and it works on Amazon, works on here, and that's it. Now, getting back to Amazon merch, I really want to mention that if you're selling on merch, which is what we're mainly going to be talking about tonight, there's a lot of other, all the other print on demands, which when I send out the replay, and in a little bit I'll also get you the link, you can see all of our other replays. You can upload the exact image that you uploaded into merch. You can also upload it onto these other print on demand sites.
And this is our 10th show, Shawn, I believe. We're at number 10 now. So we have recorded like 15 to 20 hours of conversations around print on demand so far on the Wednesdays.
That's awesome. Yep. We're always on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. You can go to punylink.com/POD and you can register for whatever the current one is. I'll go ahead and share this and then we can get started. Why don't you talk about, Jacob, about all the, some of the other sites that you can upload if people aren't familiar with other sites. You also don't have to have a special version. You have to have a very format to upload into merch. The other sites aren't really that specific. You can upload the same file to almost every other site out there.
Yeah.
You have to copy it into their template and have it in the correct format and the right size. They're way more open than merch.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the other, so normally we talk about a pod each week and we compare it to Merch by Amazon because most people are familiar with Merch by Amazon. But since we're talking about Merch by Amazon, let's compare it to a bunch of other pods just for interesting. So in terms of some of the print-on-demand platforms that we've done already, just that we've talked about for more than an hour on each one, we started out with Redbubble. We talked about Zazzle. We talked about Sunfrog, TeePublic, Spreadshirt. We've covered Gearbubble. We've covered FanPrint. We covered Society6 was last week. Society6 was very interesting because they really focus on artists and artwork. We covered Rajon, which I still can't get over their mobile app. Their mobile app on Rajon is amazing. Those are some of the print-on-demand platforms that we have already covered. But one of the things that stands out for Merch by Amazon for me is the amount of sales that you get on average per listing. And one of the things that also kind of stands out to me, I'm in Canada as an international buyer. I cannot get any listings ordered directly from Merch by Amazon. They only ship inside the US right now. So most of the other pods, they ship worldwide. FanPrint does Canada and the US, so they don't quite do worldwide, but most of the other ones do worldwide shipping. Merch by Amazon, they've got 2 items in their catalog of things that they can print. So they have the Anvil shirt and they have the premium shirt. The premium shirt right now is printing on Bella Canvas. It used to be American Apparel. American Apparel got bought by Gildan, so right now they just list it as a premium shirt. In terms of the file size that you upload, Shawn touched on this. Merch by Amazon has a very specific file size and type that they want for all of their listings. It's very specific. They want 4,500 pixels across and 5,400 from top to bottom. So that's the size of the file that you're going to want for Merch by Amazon. In terms of the file type, they want the .png file. So .png, and they want a transparent background as opposed to a white or a black background. The reason for that is when they print the design on the shirt, if you had a white or black background, it would print a white or black background. But if you have a transparent, then you can have your design and whatever the color of the shirt is going to be the background to that design on the print. In terms of the file size for Merch by Amazon, they're looking for 25 megabytes or smaller. Some of the other print-on-demand sites, they go up to 150 megabytes. Some of them have no limits. Some of them encourage you to get higher file sizes, and actually the shapes and sizes on the other pods can vary. Well, just looking back to last week, we talked about Society6, and they were recommending a 6400 by 6400 minimum size. However, they do all accept the Merch by Amazon size and file type. They all take .png files, and they all take the 4500 across by 5400 from top to bottom. So that's one of the advantages. If you're already using Merch by Amazon and you've not been using any of their print-on-demand platforms, and you're worried about what do I do with the files, what do I do with my titles and descriptions and that kind of thing, you can rest assured if you decided to use any of the other print-on-demand platforms, certainly all of the ones that we've gone through on the live calls, all of them will accept the Merch by Amazon file size. Some of them will limit the number of items that you can put it on. So for example, on Society 6, you wouldn't be able to do a duvet cover, or you wouldn't be able to do some of their carrying cases and things like that because they are looking for a better image, something with more resolution or a different file size. But generally for t-shirts, you'll get more selection, you'll get worldwide shipping, you'll get better pricing. In a lot of cases, you're gonna get faster shipping as well. Not all cases, some of them are not as fast as Prime shipping, but some of them are. So for example, Custom Cat, one of the ones we haven't done yet, we haven't done any of the back-end pods yet. We're gonna probably do those in the future. But Custom Cat, they do their printing of the actual shirt is within 24 hours, and then they ship it from there. So all their shipping times are from the first 24 hours because they have a guaranteed make time. Whereas Merch by Amazon, they can take 2 to 3 days to make the shirt, and then they'll ship it out from there. So if you order Prime 1-day shipping, if you ordered it today, you're not going to get it tomorrow. You're probably not going to get it the day after tomorrow because it takes time for them to make the shirt. And then the shipping time goes from when it's made until when you receive the shirt. So that's something to sort of keep in mind with Merch by Amazon. What are some of the other differences, Shawn? In terms of the selection, Merch by Amazon's got the t-shirts. Most of the other pods have multiple kinds of t-shirts and different cuts as well. So you can have like collar shirts, polo shirts, v-neck shirts, tank tops, hoodies. All these things are available on virtually all of the other print-on-demand sites. In terms of the printing technology, Merch by Amazon, generally right now they're running direct-to-garment or DTG. So you won't see any all-over prints at the moment. They do have the capability to do those, I believe, but they're not doing them right now. It's not something they currently offer. So if you wanted to do a dye sublimation or an all-over print, that's where you have the print goes beyond just the sort of box in the front. You can have it on the collar and the arms and down the bottom and the back, the front and back, simultaneously. Those all-over prints are available on sites like Society 6, or Rajon is really well known for their dye sublimation. And there's multiple pods that you can do these other types of things on. Pricing variations. Some of the pods allow you to do a fixed price, so you don't have control over the pod price of the shirts. So for example, Society 6 has 3 items where they allow you to flex the price on it. T-shirts is not one of them. So if you order a t-shirt on Society 6, it's going to be the same price as all the other t-shirts. They're all going to be exactly the same price. TeePublic is another print-on-demand platform where they have fixed pricing. Not only is it fixed pricing, but it's really obvious, real clear numbers. So it's the normal price for a TeePublic shirt is going to be $20 US dollars. And then when they go on sale, which they go on sale periodically, it's $14. And not only that, the first 72 hours, the first 3 days, when a TeePublic shirt is on sale, it's always the sale price, so it's going to be $14. And then after three days or after 72 hours, it goes up to $20. With Merch by Amazon, you have the ability to set your own price, so it's within a range. The range, I don't even price at the minimum anymore, but I believe it is $11.49. Is that the current minimum price on Merch by Amazon, Shawn?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there. I don't really.
I'm going to check right now because it's been so long since
I always use the better quality shirt. So that one's 13 something.
Yeah.
13.53, I think. The one I was showing, I make a penny on.
Okay. And so you're doing the premium that's going to be printed on vellum and canvas. So usually when people are looking for the lowest price, they're going to be looking for what's the lowest possible price that I could price a shirt on. So if you go into Merch by Amazon and you're doing your pricing, we're going to show you guys this stuff live, but there's actually a list price, and then there is an estimated royalty per unit. So at $11.99, you're making 39 cents. At 1149, it's negative. So I think it's 1153. So 1154 is the lowest price you can currently do. The reason I had to calculate it is when I wrote the book and when I was pricing things lower and looking at the pricing, and it's been a long time because I don't price things at the minimum price anymore, but the minimum price has changed. So it used to be lower, but now it's $11.54. And then the highest price, I believe, is $49.99. So at $11.54, you're making an estimated royalty of a penny, and that's the lowest you can do on Merch by Amazon. You can go quite a bit lower on other pods. Just making, again, that comparison. Thinking like Gear Bubble, for example, they let you go down to $5.49. And at some points they have sales. So I've seen them as low as $5 for the minimum price. That's literally half of what Merch by Amazon is in terms of the lowest price that you can price a shirt at. Some of them price by percentage. Again, Merch by Amazon doesn't do that. They have a little bit of a calculation. They have a calculator right when you're doing it, but if you click on, they have a click here and it actually shows you how it works. So it's made up of the Amazon listing fee, which is the price, and it's times 15%. And then there's Amazon costs, which are factored in, and that gives you the price of the shirt. So you've got the Amazon costs, the Amazon listing fee, and then whatever the difference is between those and the price that you have is the amount that you get paid as a royalty. And again, a royalty is also a little bit of a different thing between Merch by Amazon and some of the other print-on-demand platforms. With Merch by Amazon, you get paid a royalty. So what they're doing is they're paying you for the ability to use your design on their shirts that they're making and they're listing on their own listings. With the other print-on-demand platforms, it's not necessarily a royalty. Sometimes it's a commission. Sometimes it's profit, just the difference between the cost of the shirt and what you're selling it for. But with Merch by Amazon, it's a royalty. So for tax reasons, you'll have to check with your CPA or accountant and find out what the tax differences is, but there is a tax difference on royalty income versus commissions versus profit on a sale. So those are some of the similarities, some of the differences between Merch by Amazon and the other pods, which are, like, again, normally we compare whatever the pod is to Merch by Amazon because a lot of people are familiar with Merch by Amazon. So that covers that portion of the call. Shawn, back to you.
Hi.
All right. So normally what we have is we have my wife, Tara. She'll come in and she'll set up an account. So we can show you how quickly you can set up a print-on-demand account. And typically the process takes somewhere between 30 seconds and maybe 3 minutes at the most. Normally what they're asking you for is your email address, a password, a username. And sometimes they ask you your address. So that's what we like to do with Tara. Tara's just coming in here. She just put the kids to bed. Tara, how would you like to set up an account with Merch by Amazon today?
Boy, would I ever.
All right. She tried this. I think we're on 12 weeks or 13 weeks ago. She set up a Merch by Amazon account, and it's still not approved yet, right?
No, still not.
Did you check today?
I check almost every day now.
Do you want to tell the people about your experience here? Because normally you set up an account, and we get to show you how quickly an account's set up.
Nope.
Shawn, do you have any questions for Tara around that process for that account setup?
No.
No questions.
No.
We know.
All right, so guys, if you're watching, the reason this is a little bit funny, if you haven't seen any of our other 10 shows, we've done more than 15 or 20 hours of talking about print-on-demand pods. Normally, Tara comes in and she sets up a brand new account on whatever pod we're talking about. So last week she set up Society 6 account. Before that, she set up a Rage On account. She set up a Gear Bubble account. She set up a TeePublic account, Spreadshirt account, a Redbubble account, a Zazzle account. She set up a Sunfrog account just for you guys, live on the show.
For you.
And the reason we do that is so you can see not only what it looks like and what the process is, because it's relatively easy to set up a print-on-demand account with all of these platforms, but also how much time does it take and what is the process and what happens once you're set up. So we can't do that today because Merch by Amazon you can't get set up on Merch by Amazon immediately at the moment. When it first came out, you could. There was, at one point, no waiting time. You could just set up the account, it would be set up. Then they put in an approval process that took a little bit longer. And then they put in some restrictions where they weren't setting anybody up. And now it's a bit of a mystery. So you can apply for a Merch by Amazon account. You can do that by going to the website merch.amazon.com.
Yep.
Shawn, do you want to flip over your computer here? We can show people what that page looks like if you're not already in the program.
Yep. I just wanted to say, I'm going to put in the chat if you want to see any of the replays of the other videos I put together on Merch by Amazon and all the other shows. You can see it at that link in the chat. So yeah, let me just log out and then we'll go ahead and share the screen and see what happens.
Sure. And while we're talking about that, another thing that we like to do is we show you what is the print-on-demand platform ranking on Alexa.com. So Alexa, a lot of people are familiar with Alexa through the Alexa device or the Echo or the Echo Dot or the Tap or whatever, the Echo View now. Have you seen the Echo View, Shawn?
I don't have one, but I mean, I've seen pictures of it.
It's got a little screen on it, right? So you can see videos on it. So Shawn's got us here at merch.amazon.com. And in the top right-hand corner, if you're already part of the program, that's where you click and sign in. But if you're not already part of the program, you're going to click on Request Invitation, which is the big orange button in the bottom right-hand corner there. And rather than just joining the platform and having instant access, when you click on that orange button, you're applying to Merch by Amazon to become a Merch by Amazon merchant, right? To have that ability to connect to Merch by Amazon and to upload your designs and have them create listings for you. So as a brand new account for the application, now you're already in Merch by Amazon, so it's going to take you straight to the sign-in here, but you've got two options. You can use an existing Amazon sign-in, or you can create a new Amazon account. So those are the two options. If you're already selling on Amazon FBA, or if you're already selling on Amazon, maybe as a merchant fulfilled order, or maybe you've got it connected to your store through Shopify or through other platforms, then you might want to use your Amazon's login and password. But if you're new to Amazon and you're new, you don't have anything with Fulfilled by Amazon, or you're not already selling on Amazon, you can sign up to be accepted into the Merch by Amazon program for an invitation is really what you're signing up for. You're requesting an invitation. And if you're invited, if you're lucky enough to be invited into the Merch by Amazon program, then you'll use whatever login and password you created for your Amazon account. So that's where you would go. You click on the request by invitation. There's going to be a short screen that comes up. On the screen, they're going to ask you things like your name, your username, your password. They're going to ask you, do you have a website? So if you have a website, you can put that in. They're going to ask you what type of seller you are. So there's a drop-down menu, some choices there. Are you selling for charity? Are you selling, what are you selling on your other website? So I think that's mostly just gathering information. And there's speculation on this, but generally speaking, from what I've heard from people that have applied to the program, if you're an existing seller on Amazon and you apply for Merch by Amazon, there is some preferential treatment. I don't know if there's a way to really confirm that or not, but I have heard that. I've also heard that if you sell on other platforms, there's a little bit of preferential treatment there as well. So if you have a web presence and you're already selling merchandise on another platform, like one of the other print-on-demand platforms would be a great start to sign up for before you apply for Merch by Amazon. Another important thing to mention is when you request an invitation from Merch by Amazon, there's no cost. So you're not paying for access to Amazon.com with Merch by Amazon. There's no monthly fee at the moment. It doesn't cost you to be part of the program. This is all subject to change. So maybe tomorrow, maybe they'll start charging a monthly fee for it. Who knows? But at the moment, it's free to apply. You're requesting an invitation. And if your invitation is accepted, then it allows you to log in. So normally, we do create an account for my wife and we show you what it looks like and we upload some shirts and show you what that looks like. Today, because she hasn't been accepted into the program yet, Shawn has graciously offered to sign in to his Merch by Amazon account. So you're signing in, you put in your username and password, you click on sign in, and boom, you're right there. So right now we're at Merch by Amazon. There's 5 tabs along the top. You've got the dashboard, which is the screen that you're on when you first log in. You've got create, promote, manage, and analyze. In the dashboard, there's some important parts to point out. You're going to have how many products you currently have and how many you are allowed to upload per day. So right now, Shawn looks like, Shawn's been gracious here. He's letting us see his account. So he's got 93 products live, and he can submit 10 additional submissions per day. And then it'll also tell you what tier or what level you're in within the Merch by Amazon program. So right now, Shawn, it says you'll be able to sell up to 500 t-shirt designs at any one time. And Shawn and I are both in the same tier right now. We're both at 500. We're pretty similar in terms of live products. I have a few more live products than Shawn, but we both have the 10 submissions per day, and we're both at the 500 tier. But if you join Merch by Amazon, and let's say you're just accepted today, so let's say you just got your acceptance, currently the starting point for the tiers, and you'll hear people talk about tiers all the time, so you're not familiar with this, you may want to get a pen and pencil. The tiers start at tier 10. So with a brand new Merch by Amazon account, you're going to start at tier 10. And then you can go from tier 10 to tier 25, from tier 25 to tier 100, from tier 100 to tier 500, and then from 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000, 4,000 to 8,000, and then it's above 8,000. So when they lay it out in the resources, they actually lay that out. We can go there afterwards. But I believe at the 500, when you go beyond 500, it's just looking at a sort of a pro level account or a higher level account. And every time that those tiers go up, you get, generally speaking, more and more submissions. And those numbers have been changing throughout the program. So for example, when I joined, the first tier, the lowest tier was tier 25. So you started at tier 25 and then you went up from there. Currently, you start at tier 10. And my understanding is that right now, tier 10 starts at 1 new submission per day. But I've heard people reporting of starting at tier 10 and getting 5 submissions per day. So that number does vary. Normally, you get 1 submission per day for 10 days. And then once you've got 10 or more sales, then you would tier up to the next level. And then if you're at tier 25, if you got tier 500, if you have 25 sales or more, then you have the ability to tier up to the next level, which would be tier 100. And then after you've got more than 100 sales, you have the ability to get tiered up to 500. And then at 500 sales, you would tier up to the next level, which would be 1,000 and so on. So once you've made the number of sales of the tier that you're in, then you're qualified or you have the ability to get tiered up. It's not an immediate process. So for example, let's say you're in tier 10 and you just make your 10th sale. You don't get immediately tiered up to 25. Amazon goes through whatever process they go through, which they haven't really disclosed with anybody. And they do tier you up after some time has passed. I have a theory on this. Personally, I believe that they're on cycles based on the date that you got approved into Merch by Amazon. The reason that I believe that is because I've been tracking when people get into Merch by Amazon and then later on when they tier up. And when I look at the data of when people got in and when they tier up, they tend to be tiering up in cycles. So many people you'll find will get tiered up on the same time or on the same day. And they tend to be in the group of people who got accepted into Merch by Amazon originally at the same time. So if you watch carefully in the Facebook groups, and there's multiple Facebook groups, which you could probably touch on. They're all listed in the book as well. There's multiple Facebook groups for Merch by Amazon. Certainly the biggest one is Merch by Amazon. It's called Merch by Amazon, and it's run by Chris Green. Shawn, you've got your Merch by Amazon group as well. It's Mastering the Pod with Shawn Mayo, and maybe you could put a link to that in the chat.
Yeah.
A website that goes straight to it, right?
Yep. You can just go to masteringthepod.com.
Okay, so there's masteringthepod.com. I've also got a Facebook group, Merch by Amazon, Top Sellers, Newbies, and Pros. And that's something that I use to try and attract people to these live shows that we're doing that Shawn and I do every week. And people seem to be enjoying them so far. The feedback is good. There are some questions here, Shawn. I can see Sylvia. Sylvia is somebody that I know well. We've talked lots before. Sylvia asked, how long does it take to get accepted? And Sylvia, unfortunately, the answer is very ambiguous. So some people, when they apply, they'll get accepted into Merch by Amazon in a short time period. And when I say short time period, I'm talking like maybe 1 month, maybe a month and a half. And some people, they'll apply to Merch by Amazon and they won't get accepted in for many months. So Sylvia's a good example of this. Sylvia, I don't think you're accepted into Merch by Amazon yet. But if my memory serves me correctly, you applied for this many months ago. So do you, in the chat, can you put when you applied for Merch by Amazon? I think it's been several months ago, right? Okay, so not yet. Applied in February. Yeah, so Sylvia applied in February. She's still not in. My wife, Tara, she applied for Merch by Amazon about 13, I think 12 or 13 weeks ago, and she's also not in yet. I imagine that everybody applies, eventually gets accepted, but some people I've heard months and months, like 4, 5, 6 months, still not in. So the amount of time it takes you from when you apply to when you get in is most likely going to be more than a month. And it's most likely going to be less than 6 months. But it does vary. There's no set time. There's no guaranteed time period. And so that is going to vary from person to person. And only really Merch by Amazon knows the reasoning for that and whatever criteria they use for that. I'm not really sure what it is. My understanding is that there are tens of thousands of people that have applied for Merch by Amazon and that are waiting. So if you're one of the people that have applied for Merch by Amazon and you're waiting to get in, it's good that you applied, but you can start selling shirts immediately on any of the other print-on-demand platforms. And in the book that we talked about at the beginning of the call, Merch in the World of Print-on-Demand, it actually covers more than 35 different platforms for print-on-demand. We listed a bunch of them already because we've done live calls like this call already. So we talked about Redbubble, we've talked about TeePublic, Spreadshirt, Zazzle, Sunfrog. We've talked about Society6, Gearbubble, Rajon, Fanprint. I'm just looking down here. I've got a list of some of the print-on-demand platforms. Here are some of them. And if you want to take a screenshot of that, you can. But these are only some of the ones that are mentioned in the book, Merch in the World of Print-on-Demand. There's many more. And there's even more that aren't in the book that aren't there. And the reason for that is because they're not high-traffic print-on-demand platforms. So when I wrote the book, I went through and I checked how much traffic do each of these platforms get, and I used Alexa.com, which is an Amazon-owned company, to go through and look at the amount of traffic that goes to each of those sites. And I put down the Alexa traffic ranking, where the lower number is better, for each of the print-on-demand platforms. So you can actually see how much traffic is going relative to other print-on-demand platforms. It's kind of a nice way to see whether it's worth setting one up or not. I kind of got off track there. If you're waiting to get accepted into Merch by Amazon, I really encourage you to open up another print-on-demand platform. One that a lot of people have tremendous success with is Redbubble. They do organic advertising on your behalf when you make listings. And so you will get organic traffic, meaning no advertising, no marketing whatsoever. You upload a design, and over time, eventually you should see sales on that. So getting back to the screen here, we've talked about the tiers. We've talked about the submissions per day. By the way, none of the other pods have any of these things. They don't have tiers where you're limited to how many you can do. They don't have submissions per day. Normally you can do as many as you can upload. If you want to do 1,000 a day or 10,000 a day, if you've got maybe virtual assistants working in the background, you've got 10 of them and they're all doing 50 a day, you can be uploading 500 shirts a day if you've got the designs to upload. But Merch by Amazon does currently, at the moment, limit how many you can do per day and how many you can have on your account in total. That's just where it is currently, and that's always also subject to change. In the past, there was no daily limits, and even before that, there was no tiers. It was just go ahead and upload as many as you want. So underneath that, you're going to have the golden button there, the upload finished artwork. If you were to click that button, it's going to take you into the Create tab. And that's where you can upload shirts. Below that, you're going to have recent activity. So it always shows you the last 7 days. And if you want to see more than that, you can click on the Analyze tab where you can see more than that. But the last 7 days is kind of a good snapshot in time of where you're at in terms of selling your shirts. Ad impressions is something that's linked to the mobile app side of things. So Merch by Amazon started out as a way for mobile app developers to add t-shirts to their mobile app as another way to reach their customers and engage people that are using the mobile apps. So when it's talking about ad impressions, that is something that's connected to the mobile app side of things. And of course, if you're a mobile app developer and you have an Android app and you've got that running on the Amazon Android version of Amazon platform, you can create ads on it and connect your Merch by Amazon account to that. Then you've got the number of products sold. So this is only the number of products that have sold in the last 7 days. Higher number is better. Then you have product purchases. So this is the total dollar amount for the revenue that's been generated from purchases of your designs that Amazon has sold under Amazon's account. And again, Amazon's the seller of record when they make sales on Merch by Amazon. And in terms of where are they listed, so if you're not familiar with the program already, Merch by Amazon shirts are listed on the Amazon.com platform. It's mixed in there with all the other listings. You can't tell unless you know what to look for, or unless you know what you're looking for already. You wouldn't be able to tell what is a Merch by Amazon listing versus a regular Amazon listing. Now, there are ways to do that. We can talk about that later on the call. There's also some programs and some tools that you can use to tell which listings are Merch by Amazon versus just a regular Amazon listing as well. There's ways to tell. And then the estimated royalties. So this is the amount of royalties that you would receive on the shirts that are listed. And this is the amount that you would get. So this is the amount that gets put into your bank account. So you can get money sent directly into your bank account from Merch by Amazon in the program. If we go back to the dashboard, I'm not gonna go through your listings here, but just to point out the sections. So underneath the recent activity, there's 3 columns, products for sale. This is gonna be a list of your own products, so the ones that you've got. And you can always scroll up and down to see what they are. It also has a link, so if you wanna click the link, it goes straight to Amazon and it shows you the actual listing for that shirt. If you wanna add products, then you can do that as well. Click on Add Product. The active promotions, that's connected again to the app developer side. So this is something that most sellers on Merch by Amazon, I shouldn't say most sellers because I don't know how many people are using it for the intended purpose. Originally, it was set up for app developers. But if you have a mobile app connected to it, you can run ads through your mobile app and you can see those promotions and activity in the active promotions column. And then there's messages. Now, Shawn, can you scroll through the messages down to the very bottom of that one? The messages are things that Merch by Amazon team has sent out to people to give them information on things that are happening. And when you scroll down to the bottom, right now it goes back to March 2016. And if you're a new seller, or even if you're an existing seller, if you haven't read through all of the messages, I really encourage you to do that. It gives you some history of what's happened and some of the changes on the Merch by Amazon platform. It gives you a bit of direction and some information about what's changing, what's happening, and when it happened as well, because there's a date. So if we go back to March 22nd, 2016, you can now select new options for what sizes and styles to make your shirts available on. By default, new t-shirts are both American Apparel and Anvil t-shirts. So this is back before American Apparel went out of business and was purchased by Gildan, Canadian company, by the way. Anvil is actually a type of shirt that's owned also by Gildan, coincidentally, so that's kind of interesting. And Bella Canvas, which is the new premium shirt that's on Merch by Amazon, not only is it not Canadian, it's also not owned by Gildan, which is kind of interesting. So then you can kind of scroll through. So a month and a bit later, in April the 28th, 2016, it says some Merch by Amazon earnings reports may currently display a negative royalty. We appreciate your patience as we work to resolve this issue. So this is the way for Merch by Amazon, that team, to give users information en masse. So beyond what they can do in terms of emails, they'll put the messages right in the message box. And if you haven't read through them all, I encourage you definitely to read through them all. Then even below that, you have a little section at the bottom. It's kind of tiny print, but it's worth looking at. There's resources, there's templates, and there's SDK. SDK is a software development kit. This is for developing mobile apps and integrating Merch by Amazon into your mobile app. Then there's there's the services agreement, terms of use, and licensed materials and licensed agreements. So those are actually things that you probably should look at. The SDK is probably not relevant for most users, but everything else, you might want to take some time to look through those. So Shawn, we can scroll up to the top here now.
Yep.
And we could just quickly, at the top of the whole site.
Oh.
That's okay. So again, the create, that's where you would click to upload a new shirt. So if you click on the create tab, it's the same thing as if you clicked on upload finished artwork. So beside dashboard and then create, promote, manage, and analyze. So when you click on either upload a new shirt or the create tab, either way, it takes you to the screen, and this is where you would upload new designs. Now, Shawn, do you have a design ready to upload, or is that something we want to show people?
Yeah, I can. I think I have one on this computer.
Okay. And I normally grab my designs from my computer, but you can also connect to a cloud drive. Anything that you have access to through your computer, you can upload. And most people upload designs from their desktop computer. However, if you want to upload these through mobile, some people are aware of this, some people aren't aware of this. You can upload shirts through mobile, both on iOS and Android. With Android, there's no problem. You can use the Chrome browser, you can upload them, you can go right through to the end and make it live. On iOS or Apple's operating system, for an iPhone, for example, you can click on the upload button, you can upload the image, save selection and continue. You can go through all the screens. When you get to the last screen, there's only one browser I'm aware of that allows you to go through the very last screen when you're doing this by mobile, and that is the Puffin mobile browser. Puffin, for some reason, allows you to click on the final save button, the final cell click, and then the final OK. It allows you to go through and actually upload it directly to Amazon on mobile. So if this is new to you, welcome to a world of mobile uploads using the Puffin browser. But we're on desktop here, so Shawn, what he's done is he clicked on the upload button, and then he chose the file that he wants to upload. And you can see he's got a beautiful white image there with a transparent background. It shows on that gray shirt originally, but that's not how it's going to look unless you choose just that shirt color. He's got an option of the front and back. So Shawn, you click on the back just to show people what it looks like. If you want, you can upload an image to the front and a different image to the back, or the same image to the back, or only the back and not the front. Most people, generally speaking, from what I've seen, upload the image to the front of the shirt, but you do have the ability to do front or back. And you can actually do both. You can do an image on the front and the back. It's kind of interesting. I've done that before where I've had an image on the front and the back. And then depending on whatever you've uploaded, so right now we've got an image on the front, you can click on Save Selection and Continue. And while that's going to the next screen, if you were to upload another image, it just replaces over that one. So if you didn't like the image and you want to delete it, if you just, if you haven't already saved it and you go away, it's not going to save. But if you wanted a different image, you could just click upload again and re-upload it. Okay, so this is where it gets into some of the choices. The shirt type is kind of the big first choice there. Under shirt type, there's a drop down that says Anvil-Relaxed Fit, and then premium brand. And at the moment, premium brand for all their new shirts are going to be Bella Canvas. I'm not sure if they have any American Apparels left in certain sizes or certain colors, but for a time where they were eliminating the rest of their American Apparel inventory and they were bringing in the Bella Canvas, it was possible that you could get a premium brand and get either shirt. But right now, for any of the new shirts, the new stock is going to be Bella plus Canvas, so Bella and Canvas, and the sort of regular shirt is the Anvil Relaxed Fit. Now, when you have Anvil Relaxed Fit, which is what's currently selected, and you look down at the t-shirt cost at the bottom of the screen, it says $19.99 is the list price, and then the cost plus listing fee is $12.80, and the estimated royalty is $7.19. So with the Anvil, you get $7.19 for $19.99. If you choose this premium brand, all of a sudden it changes a little bit, and you have the list price is still $19.99, but now the cost and listing fee is $14.30. So the new royalty that you would get on a premium shirt is $5.69. So $5.69 gives you, as a seller, a little bit less royalty, and that's because there's more a more higher cost on the actual base shirt, but you haven't changed the listing price. If you want to go back, there, underneath the save and continue, there's a go back button. So Shawn, can you go and click the go back button? And yeah, you can save changes. All right, so if he goes back, it's going to take you back to the upload shirt spot that you had before. And if Shawn was, this is just kind of for example's sake, but if you were to upload, click on back and upload another design. It's going to take a minute to load up the front because you've already uploaded the front. But if you click on back and then click upload, and you can upload the same design.
Okay, but I'll upload it for the front end back.
Yeah. The reason we're doing this is there is a different cost. So if you have a design on the front and the back, and then you go back to the pricing, it does change the pricing a little bit. It should be uploading right now, right, Shawn?
Yeah, it should be.
All right. There it is. Okay. So now you go to save and continue. So you've got the design on the front and the back. So this is really a two-sided shirt now, right? You'll notice before, when we had Anvil, the royalty was $7.19. And now, scroll down a little bit so we can see your screen. It's still Anvil, so same shirt, and the same price at $19.99. Now, instead of getting $7.19 for an estimated royalty, it's showing $3.19. And the reason for that is because the price for the actual shirt has gone up. They do charge you for a back and a front shirt. Now, on this page, if you click on the back tab on the bottom of the shirt, it's where it says front and back, you can go to the back and you can click on the little garbage can there. Once it loads, it's going to load up your shirt picture in a minute there, where it should. All right, so click on the garbage can. And it's going to get rid of that back design. Or if it's going to take you back, and then click on back and click on the garbage can. And then click Save Selection and Continue. So he's deleted the back design. And when you come back, you can see the price should have gone up again on the royalties. So scroll down a bit there, Shawn. So now on Anvil Relaxed Fit, with the same $19.99 price, you can see the estimated royalty goes back up to $7.19. So it was $3.49 or something around there. And that extra cost difference is the cost for front and back. So when you're making shirts, you can see the estimated royalty. Not only can you see it, but you can actually change the list price. So Shawn, just for example's sake, do you want to show them what happens if you make a lower or a higher price and go up or down? Okay, so if you click down, it goes down $1 at a time. And you can see at $11.99, it'll then allow you to do it. So at $11.99, you're making 39 cents royalty. And again, the minimum price on a shirt we saw earlier was $11.54. If you put in $11.54, it'll give us an estimated royalty of a penny, right? So that's the lowest price you can do on Merch by Amazon. If you were to price a shirt lower than that, it will not allow you to save and continue. So let's do that. Let's say it's put in $10.99. Let's say Shawn wants to try and lose some money. Yeah, $10.53, and then click Save and Continue. Yep. Okay, the maximum list price is $49.99, and you must earn at least 1 cent in royalty. So it doesn't allow you to save it at a loss. You can't have an estimated royalty that is negative, okay? So that's just kind of a nice thing to know when you're listing shirts, that if you accidentally lower the price below where you're making any money, it doesn't allow you to. Same thing as if you did a price that was above $49.99, it also will not allow you to go through. But if Shawn wanted to make this $45.99, it will allow him to go through. So we don't have to show that, but you know, if you did a price anywhere up to $49.99, let's say $49.99, it should allow you to go. $48.99. And the funny thing here, guys, is there are shirts that are listed at $49.99 on Merch by Amazon. They're listed on Amazon, and they are Merch by Amazon shirts. Right, so it does allow you to get through. So you can also change the list price on this page as well. Do you want to lower the price down there, Shawn? Because that's a pretty steep price. Although it's your shirt, you can price it at any price you want in that range on Merch by Amazon. All right, and then we're going to go back to the previous screen because I want to explain how the colors and things work. If somebody's not familiar with Merch by Amazon, it's probably important for them to know how that works. So originally, Merch by Amazon allowed you to have any of the colors up to and including all of the colors. Currently, they restrict you to just 5 colors, which is not a bad thing. When you look in the actual resources area, when they have some suggestions on their best practices for things, they do recommend 3 colors as a maximum. So they recommend 3 colors. A lot of sellers sell more than 3, and the maximum you can currently select is 5. Again, it's subject to change. This could change anytime. And so, so Shawn, let's show the people what happens when we select some colors. Probably the best-selling color on Merch by Amazon is probably black. I'm just going to put it out there. Black seems to be the color of shirt that most Americans buy on Merch by Amazon. It'd be interesting if we had a giant data set of sales to see what the other next most popular colors would be. But from what I've heard, they're darker colors. The darker colors tend generally to sell better. Purple, orange, pink, the heather, purple, heather, and the light heather are all newer colors, so they weren't available even as little as, let's say, 3 months ago. They weren't there. So they are kind of newer colors for Merch by Amazon. Now, the other pods, they have many more colors. We were looking at TeePublic the other day, and they had 60, so 60 colors. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, times 6 is 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's 21 colors on Merch by Amazon. On some of the other pods, 60. So about approximately 3 times as many colors. But lots of colors doesn't make shirt sales. So 21 colors is great. Now, another thing to point out is there's a default color. The top right-hand color, Shawn, if you hover over, it tells you the color names. So that one's silver. That's what's selected by default. So if you don't uncheck it, then it's going to be one of your selections. If you do uncheck it, it allows you to pick a 5th color. All right, so Shawn's going to pick whatever he likes to pick there for that shirt. Pink, purple. I like the purple. Looks nice. Okay, so he's got purple. He's got black. He's got grass color, royal blue, and dark heather. Dark heather is one of the new ones, by the way. So is purple. So the other thing that you can choose is the fit types. You have men's, women's, and youth. So those are the 3 types of shirts that you can get. If you're already selling on Merch by Amazon, a lot of this is going to be information you already know. But if you're new to it, this is all brand new. So enjoy the show. And if you scroll down to the bottom, then you can go to the next screen. And this is where you select your brand name, your keyword. Of course, there's pricing. Did you want to change your pricing at all, Shawn? You got an estimated royalty of $19.09. That'd be a great royalty to make on that shirt. And if you do change the price on the list price, even on this screen, it still shows you the estimated royalty. It just doesn't show you the middle cost part. But here there are there's 5 slots where you can enter information. There's the brand name. So this is what your shirt's going to be listed to as a brand. And if you want to have a group of shirts with multiple brands, you can have the same brand name for multiple shirts. Or if you want to have a different brand name for every shirt, you could do that as well. So let's say Shawn wanted 5 shirts and he wanted them to all have the same brand. So when somebody clicks on the brand name on Amazon.com, they're going to see all 5 of those shirts. That's like a group of shirts under the same brand. But if he puts a different brand on each one and he clicks on the brand, they're only going to see that one shirt that's on that one brand. So some people will group lots of brands together or lots of shirts under the same brand. Some will do many shirts in one brand. Some will do all their shirts under one brand. So they're trying to build a brand name over time. Some people do a different brand for every shirt. What I like to do, I don't know what you do, Shawn, but I like to do groups of shirts by brand. So I might do 2 or 3 or 5 shirts, maybe up to 10 shirts under one brand name. And then I'll pick a different brand name for a different niche, and I'll group a bunch of shirts together there as well. So I do think there's some synergy when you have shirts sharing a brand name. However, if you have many, many shirts or all of your shirts under one brand name, there are some risks. I suppose there's rewards as well. One of the risks is that if somebody wants to go and try and copy your designs or copy the things that are in your niche or start to copy the things that are on your listings, they could just easily click on the brand name and see all of your shirts. So that's something that was probably more of a concern at the beginning of Merch by Amazon. Now I don't think it really matters too much because people can see, there's tools right now where you can see all kinds of Merch by Amazon shirts, and you can actually rank them now in order, and you can see how many sales they're getting. They also have the BSR, the bestseller rank, when they make sales, just like any other item that's sold on Amazon.com. And so it's not really that big a deal right now if you had a bunch of shirts under one brand name as opposed to what it was in the past. I suppose if you're a mega seller and you've got thousands of shirts, there may be more risk to you as an account where people are trying to copy the things that you have. But that's kind of personal preference, so that can be done in many different ways. So the next part is there's the title of the product. So Shawn, do you want to talk about the title a little bit?
Yeah, put the title in here.
Okay.
I don't usually go crazy with the title, so.
Okay. I can keep talking about it. I'm just getting, my mouth is dry. I didn't bring water today for some reason. So the brand name can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to be the same on every shirt. The title can be whatever you want, and it can be different on every shirt. Or you can have multiple shirts with this exact same title if you want. You can have your title be the same as other people's title if you want. Whatever you put in this section, whether it's the brand name or the title or the key product features or the product description, make sure that nothing that you put in there is trademarked. Okay, if you put something that's in there that's trademarked, there's a very high probability that Merch by Amazon is going to reject the submission. They will not allow it to go into their inventory. In the beginning, they were letting listings go in with trademark stuff and with branded copyright things, and then they started to really turn up the prevention of that because they don't want to have trademark conflicts on their inventory, especially because they're the seller of record. So I highly recommend not putting anything that's trademarked in any of the slots, whether it's the brand, the title, the keywords, the product description. Not only do you not want to put anything that's trademarked as a single word, but any groups of words, whether they're in order or not. So there was some testing that people did before where they had, let's say, an out-of-order trademark, like Green Day, for example. The band Green Day is a trademark thing. And for Earth Day, people were saying, you know, have yourself a green adventure on Earth Day, for example. And the word green was there and the word day was there, and it got violated as a trademark because Green Day is trademarked. So out-of-order trademarks can happen in Merch by Amazon. They certainly could. I'm not sure if they're still doing that or not because, again, it's constantly changing and that could be changing at any time. There's an automatically included area, which Shawn's kind of pointing out there. So it's always going to say imported, solid colors, 100% cotton. It's got some of the materials breakdown for the different types of shirts that they have, whether it's a heather, or hot heathers, they've got some polyester there a little bit. Before they brought in the heathers, they used to be all 100% cotton, and they used to all be US made now as well. Now it says imported. That's a change that I didn't even notice. Machine wash with cold light colors, low dry heat, or dry low heat, lightweight, classic fit, double needle sleeve, and bottom hem. So that's a description that's automatically included. You don't have to type that in. If you type in that stuff in your key product features, you're kind of wasting your time a little bit because it's already there. It's going to be on the listing anyways. The fields that come up in an Amazon search or that will assist you with an Amazon search for keywording are anything that's in the brand name, anything that's in title, anything that's in the key product features. Those will appear in an Amazon search results. Something that's in the product description will not affect your in Amazon search results. That's something that's been tested and proven a long time ago. And of course, it's subject to change, so it could change anytime. However, you still want to usually put something in the product description area. And the reason for that is the entire listing is going to be indexed by search engines like Google or Yahoo or Bing or other search engines that people might use. And so you'll still get search results for SEO if you put things into the product description, even though it's optional on Merch by Amazon. So are the key product features, also optional. You don't have to put something in. So if Shawn wanted to just load up his shirt like that and not put anything else in, he can. Or if he wanted to put in extra words in the key product features or the product description fields, there's the two fields for key product features. And there is a product limit on those, which has just recently happened with Merch by Amazon. So it'll be in the messages area. If you go to the messages area, you can see that. I think it's 256 characters long, and it's 100 characters for the top two, I believe. But I'd have to check the messages. It's actually written in there. So Shawn, are you going to put any key product features or description in this listing?
Yeah, I'm terrible at this, but yeah, I'll do something.
Okay. We'll give some people some tips here. So this is a fitness shirt, right? I'm into fitness donuts in my mouth. Okay, so that's kind of a fun shirt. So you might want to say something to do with humor or funniness or something like that in the key product features. So awesome for people that like to have fun with people that love donuts. You could say awesome for Canadians because Canadians, love donuts. We had a chat about that one.
No, I won't be doing that.
Americans love donuts. There's Dunkin' Donuts and other donut companies. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do is in the terms of service, it says you cannot do keyword stuffing. That means you can't, if you hate Canada, you'll love this shirt. That could be a selling feature for people like Shawn that hate Canada, which is fine. One of the things that I like to do, and this is just my preference, but I like to do this, is I'll open up a second tab with listings that are on a Merch by Amazon listing. So, Shawn, you've got another Merch by Amazon tab there. Can you click on that second tab? And then click on your dashboard. And click on any one of those shirts that come up, like maybe the first one that comes up, because I think that's a 4th of July shirt. All right, so when you go there, it automatically has the tab open for the category that Merch by Amazon shirts are in. So this is going to be clothing and shoes and jewelry. Scroll up to the top of it. It's going to be clothing, shoes and jewelry, novelty and more, clothing and novelty. There's actually 3 categories that Merch by Amazon shirts go into. There's one for women's shirts, there's one for men's, and there's one for youth. And when you make a sale in those, you can actually see them come up under the BSR. So it'll give you the category, top level category, and subcategory. There are some tools that allow you to see kind of behind the scenes and go directly to merch only shirts. Do we want to talk about Merch Informer a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so Merch Informer is probably one of the top tools that I like to use for research. And Shawn, you probably use it as well. But if you go to merchinformer.com, there's actually a tool in there, which is Merch Research, which used to be its own thing by Chris Green. It was merchresearch.com. And if you actually Google merchresearch.com, it'll take you straight to a nice little research page that we can use, which is free and doesn't require any sign up or anything. So if you Google Merch Research, do you have a permanent search field that says cannabis is legal in Canada? Okay, so Merch Research used to be its own website. Now it's been folded into and it's combined with Merch Informer. So we can click on that. This is a fantastic tool, which I recommend everybody uses. There's no cost to use it at the moment. And it allows you to see Merch by Amazon listings. Now, if you type in any keyword that you want, so maybe fitness or donuts, something that's related to our shirt, we're going to see other shirts that are related to that shirt on Amazon.com. And the big thing that allows it to do that is there's a keyword called ORCA. However you spell ORCA. O-R-C-A. And that is kind of a code word that Merch by Amazon was using at the beginning of the program, and it's allowed them to identify their shirts. But if you, so when you click on shirt, it'll open up a new tab. And you can see at the very top in the URL, between hidden keywords and field keywords is equals ORCA. If you type in ORCA into the search field for Amazon.com, you'll get a large number of shirts that are in the Merch by Amazon. You'll get a lot of Merch by Amazon shirts. They won't all be Merch by Amazon shirts, but a lot of them will be. So you can scroll down, you can see the Merch by Amazon shirts are starting to come up there. It happens to also give you other things to ORCA, so it's an actual keyword rather than a hidden keyword. If you do a hidden keyword, then it gives you, and it's capital O-R-C-A. So if you go to the top and search on Amazon, you type in brackets, ORCA, capital O, capital R, capital C, capital A, and put it in quotes as well, capitals.
Yeah, quote.
So this is still going to give you ORCA things, and then you click on Prime. This will show you a very much higher than average percentage of shirts that are in Merch by Amazon because it is a keyword on every Merch by Amazon listing. So while he's scrolling down there, you can see there's some non-Merch by Amazon things in there, but they're related to ORCAs. But there's also a high level of shirts, and you can tell they're Merch by Amazon shirts on Amazon.com because the shirt image is going to have a little white tag in the middle, and there's really only 2 images they use, one for the premium listing and one for the Anvil listing. So they kind of stand out. If you know what to look for, you'll see that little white tag really makes it pop. I think if they took off those white tags, it would confuse a lot of sellers, to be honest, because a lot of people will kind of look for that. But most of those shirts that are showing there are all Merch by Amazon shirts. Now, they don't have to be a Merch by Amazon shirt. Somebody who's on Merchant Fulfilled or has Fulfilled by Amazon could actually make an Orca shirt, and it would still come up there. But when you did that search through Merch Research, which is part of Merch Informer, that is the keyword that's using. It's one of the keywords that is used to get that. So if we go back to those tabs that you opened up, one was for fitness, I think, and one was for donuts. You want to click on those tabs?
Yep.
Your results.
These are.
Yeah. So this is the fitness one. Now, do you have any kind of plugins that you use that allow you to see the BSR on listings?
No.
Do you have one that you can just enable?
No, I'm in Firefox. I'm not using Chrome. So.
Okay. Do you have one in Chrome that we want to show people, or?
No.
No? Okay. So just as a side note, in the book, we go through multiple plugins and things. One of the plugins that's available is the Merch Research Pro plugin. That actually allows you to see the BSR ranking on the broad search page, like on this page that we're looking at, and you can actually see the BSR ranking number for all of the Merch by Amazon shirts when you do a search through that Merch Research function of Merch Informer. So that allows you to kind of easily rank shirts that are in your keyword and that are also Merch by Amazon shirts, and also see the BSR ranking. So you can compare what you're seeing on this page without having to go into the shirt. But let's say if we want to show people what that looks like, if they're not familiar with BSR or with the rankings, we can click on one of those shirts and show them what it looks like. Most of the shirts that are going to come up on this front page have probably had sales on Amazon before. That's why they're showing you them. If you scroll down to the bottom on the left-hand side, it's going to say Amazon bestseller rank, often known as the BSR. And if you're new to Merch by Amazon or even Amazon selling in general, the lower that number is, so right now it's, you got your mouse over it, but it's 844 or 814? Okay, 814,730 in clothing. So with a ranking like that, this shirt is most definitely getting one sale per week, at least. Once that gets below 300,000 or 100,000, for sure under 100,000 ranking in the top level category rank, you can assume that that shirt will be making at least one sale per day, if not multiple sales per day. So the lower the number is, the more shirt sales that the shirt is getting. Underneath the bestseller rank, it's going to give you subcategory ranks, and there are 3 subcategories that this shirt could be getting sales in. So do you want to go to the, go back to the Merch Informer, Merch Research tab, where you got this one from, and just do a blank search. So take out the word fitness altogether. And click search. If you go to this Merch Research search bar, which is currently in Merch Informer, and you click a blank search, it's going to show you multiple Merch by Amazon results. Now currently, for some reason, it's only saying that there's 50,000 results in clothing. That should be closer to like 1.1 million or so. I'm not sure what's happening there. That's odd. But if you click on the Musical.ly shirt, that's really odd that it's not higher. There's definitely more than 50,000 merch shirts. Okay, this is a shirt that's constantly selling in the high number of sales. So if you scroll down to the bottom here, it's going to give you two of the 3 categories. So one of them is clothing, shoes and jewelry, novelty and more, clothing, novelty, women, tops and tees, t-shirts. And the other one is clothing, shoes and jewelry, women's, and shops. Shops is something that's specific to Musical.ly. There is a shop for this. So that's a little bit of an odd category. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's 3 different categories in addition to the shops that you can see Merch by Amazon shirts in. One of them is that top one. One of them is the second one, which is listed as a women's shirt. So the clothing, novelty, women's tops and tees and t-shirts, if you wanted to drill down, you can actually see that all of the Merch by Amazon shirts that are listed as women's shirts are going to be somewhere in that category. There's also a men's category. It's a bit of a different path, so it's not the same kind of path, but it will show you those. And so this category, again, this is on regular Amazon.com, so you're going to see all the other things that happen to also be in that category. But there you can see in the top 100 listing that Shawn just pulled up for that category, it did have the Musical.ly shirt. So that Musical.ly Merch by Amazon shirt is in the top 100. Currently it's listed as 16 in that subcategory. And it's 8,500 in the BSR for all of the clothing, shoes, and jewelry tab. So the reason we wanted to go here is scroll to the top of the page, of this page. Shawn?
Working on it.
Yep. So under novelty and more, if you go there and type in the word that you wanted to, we're trying to create our description here. So type in, let's say fitness. And you hit enter as well. So just type the space bar and don't hit enter. You should have the auto suggest coming up. Why is it not auto suggesting something there? Can you do it without cap blocks? Do you not have auto suggest? Do you have it turned off or something?
No.
Normally it should auto suggest something there, right?
Okay, well, it's not.
Try donuts. Space. Okay, for some reason it's not auto suggested. So just go to the regular Amazon search. So click on Amazon Try Prime or whatever it says there. When you go to Amazon and you type something in, normally it gives you auto suggestions, things that it's suggesting that it thinks you want based on what you're typing. So that drop down that you just saw. And if you type in, let's say, fitness, if you want to choose a department, you can choose the clothing and jewelry department. I'm not sure why it's not on. There it is. Okay, so we got fitness belt, fitness watch, fitness equipment, fitness tracker with heart rate monitor, fitness journal, fitness ball, fitness tracker watch. Those are things that people are searching for on Amazon.com, just generally, okay? So they're auto-suggesting things that other people are searching for. So what I would sometimes do is if I'm doing a niche, let's say the niche, for example, in this search is fitness, I might type in the word fitness and see what comes up, even regardless of shirts. They've got Rogue Fitness shirt, Planet Fitness shirt, fitness shirts for women, funny, fitness shirts for women, pack, fitness shirts apparel. So the word pack, something I wouldn't have thought of. Fitness shirts for men, fitness shirts for women with sayings, right? There's all these auto suggestions, but I would just type in the word fitness because I know people are going to be looking for fitness and I know that's already in my thing. And then I would write down, what I do is I like to write down what comes up as auto suggest. Fitness belt, watch, equipment, tracker, journal, ball. I'll put those into a list and then I'll put other things that are in my listing. So let's say donut is in this one, right? So let's do donut. All right, donut, fitness donut shirt, fitness donut. Okay, take out the word, like just donut by itself without fitness. Okay, so we got hair donut, pop and socket donut, bun donut, if you dig a dog a donut, pool floats, pan, pop socket donut. Do you know what a pop socket donut is?
No.
I don't know what that is either. I'm curious to know what that is.
Should I?
Sure, yeah, click on it. Why not? It's clearly something people are looking for. What is that?
It's something for a phone.
Let's click on it. I want to see what it searches for.
I'm working on it. Oh, look.
Oh, look at that. Picture of a donut. Pop socket.
Yeah, it's a little suction cup that goes on the back of your phone and you can like hold your phone.
Is that for like one-handed phone holding?
Right.
And
So,
so apparently
the bottom of the suction cup, the top, you like put your fingers around it to hold your phone like that.
Does it open up or something? When there's like a little button on the side, can you put stuff in that?
I don't think so. Not the ones I've seen. It's just a grip, and it's like expanding, so you can like push it down flat and then pull it out. You see the little,
Oh, yeah, I see that.
I've seen them in stores. I didn't know they were really this popular.
You know, you learn new things when you're doing merch by Amazon, guys. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I wrote down some of the words that came up. So with fitness, we had belt, watch, and ball. And with donut, there was pan, floats, pop socket, and pan. So pan I put down twice. So pop socket, that looks like it's a brand, popsockets.com. So probably don't want to use socket or the two words together, but maybe pop. So if you go back to your listing, this is just something that I like to do. And you can do this lots of different ways. There's all kinds of different strategies for keywords. There's different tools, like Merch Informer has gorgeous tools, fantastic tools for doing this. We put in the product features, awesome for lovers of funny shirts. And if you hate Canada, you'll love this shirt. Okay, that's fine. And then in product description, you might want to type in some of those things that people are using in the Amazon searches. And if you're going to use this strategy for using it from Amazon, I would actually put those up in the top 2 under the product key features. And I wouldn't just list them out. I would think of a sentence. So think of something that's related to fitness or donuts and maybe has something to do with your t-shirt with the word belt, watch, ball, pan, floats, and pop, right? You could say something like, if you've had so much pop that you've got to loosen your belt every time you play ball with this t-shirt, you might love this t-shirt, or you might find this funny. So I would try and look at some of those words that people are searching for in Amazon already, and I'll write them down, and then I'll try to creatively make a logical sentence, a real sentence that actually means something that can be used to describe my shirt. The reason I do that is I know that people are already searching for those things on Amazon, and I want my shirt to come up when they're searching for those things. So let's say somebody's looking for a fitness ball. They're obviously interested in fitness for some reason. This is kind of a funny fitness shirt, so I want my shirt to come up alongside it. So that's one reason. Let's say if they're looking for a donut pan, maybe they're gonna make some donuts. They might like a funny donut shirt or a funny fitness donut themed shirt. So I think those things are related. I like to sort of pepper in some keywords that Amazon's using. Another thing that you could do is you could do the same thing with Google and maybe put some of those auto-suggest words that Google comes up with in the product description part, because we know that the product description on Merch by Amazon is going to come up in your Google search results because they're indexing the whole page. So we've talked a lot about this listing here. We've talked a lot about everything that you put in here. Again, the bottom 3 text fields are all optional. You don't have to put anything there, but you can. So product description, maybe let's just describe the type of person maybe that would love to wear this funny shirt.
I don't know.
Let's say forget about fitness and have a donut when you're wearing this shirt with friends. Take a break. Celebrate your goals, something like that. There you go. Show your friends that you can forget about fitness with a donut and this shirt. So again, it's more important that you load lots of shirts into Merch by Amazon than it is that you nail all of the descriptions and things. It's better to have lots of shirts listed than it is to try and spend lots and lots of time making sure that each listing is just perfectly optimized. If this was fulfilled by Amazon or FBA, I would say it may be significantly more important that you have the listing totally optimized rather than getting lots of products up. With Merch by Amazon, I firmly believe that many listings on Merch by Amazon is going to give you the greatest chance of success on the platform. And in fact, if you're not uploading shirts into Merch by Amazon on a regular basis, I really believe that they are throttling and they will not show your listings as much as they would show them if you were maximizing your daily uploads. That's kind of a tidbit. And it's also, there's no way for me to absolutely confirm that, but just anecdotally, anybody that I've talked to that slows down with their uploading tends to make less sales. And not just because of the number of shirts they have up, they gotta have a very high number of shirts, but if they're not uploading new shirts, they tend to lose sales over time pretty rapidly. And people that are maximizing their daily uploads, they tend to make an unusually higher number relative to other people who are not uploading their shirts by uploading the maximum number. So if you've got room for 10 per day, try and make sure that you're uploading 10 per day. If you've got 1 per day, make sure you're uploading 1 per day, not 1 every 3 days or something. If you have, let's say you're one of the higher tiers and you've got 30 or 40 listings per day that you could upload, I implore you to try and maximize those number of daily uploads every day to maximize the exposure you're going to get on Merch by Amazon, because I really do believe that they throttle. And I believe that if you're not uploading the maximum number, you're missing out on sales that you could otherwise get, because I believe that they're throttling. And I can't confirm that, but anecdotally, I see it over and over again. So I believe that that's the case. I could be wrong. They're also always changing, so things could change anytime. So let's click Save and Selection and Continue. So if anybody hasn't seen Merch by Amazon on the inside, this is how it works. You can get to see this now. So it'll say success every time before it goes to the next page. Now here it's going to give us 3 options on the right-hand side. Of course, you can see the listing, you can see the price, you can see your estimated royalty there. But under select availability of your shirt, there's 3 options. So there's an explanation under each one of those. If you want to sell it immediately on Amazon, make it public for everybody, you're going to click on the 3rd option, which is sell public on Amazon. So once it's approved by Merch by Amazon, then it gets created as a listing. And all of the child ASINs that Shawn was talking about earlier are going to be populated. So you're going to have the different sizes that you have, so in this, or different cuts. So in this case, we chose men's, women's, and youth. I guess we didn't really talk about that, but you can, if you want to have only men's as an option, you can do that, or only women's, or only youth, or men's and women's and not youth, or any of those combinations. We chose all, and I don't see why you wouldn't choose all of them. And so when you click on sell and you click the golden button, it'll automatically start listing it. But if you click on sample, it's going to give you like a hidden listing, so something that where you'll have a link, and you can send that link to people and they could buy your shirt without having it listed publicly. You might want to do that if you're making a shirt for a business or something. You want to give them a link, they can buy their shirt, but not have it available for everybody to see. Or if you have a client or somebody that you want to send a link to, you can do that. And the ability to send a link to somebody and have that person also see it, but not have it listed on Amazon.com for everybody to see. That's what you use that sample for. And then draft, that's where you would click it if you wanted to come back and maybe work on the listing later. So if you don't want to list it right away, you don't want to start selling it right away, you want to put it in draft, you can do that. As well, we should mention every time we click on the orange button after the first one, it automatically gets put into draft. So if you were just to like close your browser altogether and get out of here, it's already going to have this listing in your draft. And the draft will be seen under the manage menu, which we might talk about or we might not. Depends on how Shawn feels about that. So if you click on submit product, it's going to give a quick pop-up window. So go ahead and submit the product if you want this to be a live listing, Shawn. And this is basically going to ask, are you sure? So you're submitting a shirt, and when it's confirming with you that you own the rights to list it, that you're not listing anything that's trademarked or not allowed. And then when you click OK, you can see it gives you a status. So it tells you that it's listed. Now, he did have 10 submissions available for the day. Now that he's submitted one, he's got 9 available for the day. And that will continue to reduce in the number the more that you list up. And so that'll just go down as you list more things until you've maxed out your daily listings. And then it'll say you've uploaded as many shirts as you can. You have 0 listings available for the day. You want to see that every day, like 7 days a week. That's the way to maximize Merch by Amazon. So if you scroll down a little bit just to that first listing that we did, we don't want to see all your shirts or whatever, but if you go down so we can see the last one that you just submitted, scroll a little bit down. There you go. So it tells you the title, it tells you your picture, a little image of the one that you did. It tells you the date that it was created. So in this case, it's today's date, the 12th. It tells you the list price. It tells you what its status is. And the status is something you want to keep an eye on if you check back to the manage menu. It also puts you on the manage page. So we're on the manage page right now. So it's going to start out with under review. Okay, so it's being reviewed right now. And then it's going to go to, if it's approved, it's going to go into processing or to be processed, and then processing, and then it'll go to live. And then it'll stay live until a sale is made, and then it'll just continue to be live forever. Or if no sales are made within 90 days, so 90, 3 months, if no sales are made within 90 days, Amazon will automatically take it down. So you can kind of see the listing underneath, the status removed. That is something that was taken down because there wasn't any sales within a 90-day period. So it can be removed. As long as there's one sale within 90 days, then it won't be removed. It'll stay up basically at this point in time forever on a Merch by Amazon. Again, the rules are changing. That 90-day rule used to be 60-day rule, and before that there was no rule, so it could just be up all the time. So the rules do change. You'll see most of those important changes in the messages section that were on that dashboard page. Now, Shawn, do you want to hit refresh and see if it's been approved already or if it's started processing? Sometimes it'll be quite fast, and sometimes it'll take longer. Okay, so it's still under review. So it will continue to be under review until it's reviewed, and then it'll be either rejected, which means they did not approve it, or it will go into processing, and then from processing it will go into live. And the amount of time it takes for that can be very quick. I've seen it within a couple minutes, like 5 minutes or less, where it goes from status under review into processing. And then once it's in processing, it can take any number of minutes or hours or sometimes days in processing, and then it'll go to live. And sometimes while it's in processing, you can still see it on Amazon.com and you can still purchase it. But basically, once it goes live, then that means there's a listing that's been created for your Merch by Amazon listing, and it's on Amazon.com. So, Shawn, if we scroll up to the top of the page again. So, if we click on Analyze, I don't know how much information you want to show on your account or not, but if we click on Analyze, it gives you the ability to see information about your account. So you can see products that have sold. So in this case, there's 3 shirts that have sold. It tells you the name, it tells you how many were purchased, whether or not it's been canceled or not. So in this case, none of those were canceled. It tells you the revenue that each one of those shirts sold for, and then the royalties that was made on each one of those shirts. Now, the higher your revenue or the higher the amount of the price the shirt was, the higher your royalties are going to be. And the lower it is, theoretically, you're going to get more sales because it's a lower price, but I don't believe that it's a perfectly logical or elastic pricing. It's not like buying bread or pop or something like that, so it's not commodity pricing. So personally, I don't think the pricing changes the rate at which people buy your shirts. And the reason for that is I think the number one most important thing about a listing on Merch by Amazon is that it's found. So your keywords, your description, your title, I think that's the number one thing. Because if nobody ever sees it, then it has a very low chance of getting sold. If it's never found, it's not going to be bought. Once it's found, as soon as it shows up on the screen, then you're talking about where is it showing up. So if it shows up where people can see it, that's obviously better. If they can't see it, like it's buried like on page 6 or something, it's unlikely that people are going to click that for before they buy it. But assuming that it's found, the next most important thing, in my opinion, is the design. People want to like the shirts they're going to buy or the like shirts they're going to buy for other people. And so if the design sucks and the keywording is good, you're probably still not going to make a lot of sales because the design sucks. But as long as it can be found and the design is good, that design is going to be what sets your shirt apart from the other ones that are coming up on the search results. And that's what allows you to make good shirts. And then as a consideration, after it's been found, after it's a good design, then price may or may not come into play. Some buyers are price sensitive, some aren't. In the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand, in chapter 5 on marketing, I go through marketing 101 and marketing 102. There's 2 sections there about marketing in general. And I go into 10 different reasons why people buy things. And pricing is only one of those 10 things. There's 9 other factors that somebody might consider when they're buying something. And so by knowing the different reasons why people buy things, I think you can kind of give yourself a bit of an advantage on Merch by Amazon or selling anything in general, whether it's Amazon or eBay or anywhere. All right, Shawn's hiding there, but I know he's there because I've seen Shawn click off and then he's still there. So Shawn, if you're still there, can you go and change the either click on earnings or the date range, and you can make a smaller date range if you want. So right now it defaults to a 7-day date range, but if you want to change the date range to a smaller date range, you can click on the from and to dates. You can see whatever dates you want. And the spread between the first date and the second date has to be 3 months or less. So it only allows you to do 90 days snapshot. If you want to do more than 90 days, you're kind of not going to happen currently. And they could change that anytime. So he goes for 2 days, and you hit go. And again, it'll just show you that time period. If you clicked on more days, it's probably going to see more things that sold. Less days, less things that sold. That's kind of the way it works. If you click on the download CSV, so what that's going to do is download whatever items you see showing. So he's got those 3 items showing right now. And this is going to download, normally I use Chrome, so it just shows up. You're using Firefox, right?
Yep.
So it's going to download wherever it downloads. And then if you open up what just downloaded.
What?
Can you open up the .csv file that just downloaded?
That's what's open.
I can't see it though. All right, perfect. So when you have sales on Merch by Amazon, you download that .csv file. I really highly recommend that you download those over time and you collect them all in a single spreadsheet so that you can refer to your sales over time. And the reason for that is you can only go back 90 days or 3 months. And by downloading those on a regular basis, at least every 90 days, it allows you to have a running record of all your sales over time. And you can use that data for later on. Things that you might not even imagine right now, you might want to use that data for later. So you can see things like the actual date, okay? When you see the manage page, you can see what has sold, and you can even drop them down and see the type of thing that's sold, but you can't see the date. By downloading the .csv file, you can see the actual date and see when things sold, and you can see if there's a relationship between the type of shirt that sold and maybe the date that it sold. You can also see the parent and the child ASIN for the item that sold. You can see the size. You can see the color. You can see whether it's men's, women's, or youth. So in this case, we sold 3 shirts. There's 2 men's shirts and 1 women's shirt. And one of them was XL olive colored. One of them was a large olive shirt. And one of them was a 2XL purple shirt. So the more sales you have, the more valuable that information becomes, because then you have the ability to look at big data, and you can actually look at your data. It also tells you the number of units, the cancellations, the revenue, and the royalty in US dollars. I think it's interesting it puts it in US dollars. It kind of suggests that in the future they might show other currencies like Canadian dollars or pounds or euros or something, right? Right now it shows everything in US dollars because it's only sold in the US. So if you have, let's say, sales every day and you want to download that .csv either daily or weekly or even monthly if you wanted to, you can actually copy. It gives it to you in exactly the same format and at exactly the same titles every time. So you can grab the cells and put it into a master Excel spreadsheet over time, and you can actually see how many sales you've made, what your total royalties have been, your total revenue, that kind of thing. So that's kind of a good idea. A good best practice is to download your .csv file at least every 90 days so that you can collect that information over time. All right, so Shawn, we'll close that.
Yep.
And thanks for sharing that, by the way. Another quick kind of thing to point out is we'll stay on the same page. Under product name, where he's got those 3 shirts, there's a little chevron, a little sort of arrow pointing down. If you click on that arrow, if you've never noticed this before, for anybody that's watching, it's kind of neat. If you click that, you can actually see the shirt that sold. And if you had, let's say, 10 shirts of one shirt, 10 one design, and you click on that, and there was, let's say, 2 of one type and 1 of a different size, it'll break it all down so you can actually see that. So once you get into volume sales, especially in Q4, I'm expecting you're going to get lots of sales. You're going to see lots of purchases of the same design on a single day or over time. When you click on that little chevron, it does show you more detail. Also, if you go to larger dates, you're going to see that just kind of loads up because a lot of people will have lots of sales over time. And then at the top of this page on Analyze, if you click on Earnings, now I don't think, Shawn, you don't need to click on this if you don't want to, but if you click on Earnings, it does show you a month-by-month breakdown, and it'll show you the month and then the total number of sales that you've got on each of those months over time. So if you want to track your sales over more than 90 days, just in general terms, it'll tell you the amount of royalties and the amount of sales that you've had month by month by clicking on the Earnings by month. So that kind of covers Merch by Amazon in terms of the site, some information about it. I really encourage everybody to go to the resources tab. So Shawn, I think you had a tab open on resources, but let's click on that and show people people can read this on their own, but I just want to show them in general some of the things that are there. Okay, so this is going to give you best practices. It's going to tell you how the royalties are calculated. It's going to go through the content policy. If you're new to Merch by Amazon, and even if you're not new, if you're experienced, I highly recommend that you go through the content policy on a regular basis and understand what the policy is on content. If you ever have a violation or a takedown, which is even kind of more significant than a non-upload rejection, the content policy will really, you got to be clear on the content policy. You can't have anything that's trademarked. You can't have nudity. You can't have swearing. There's things that you cannot upload to Merch by Amazon. There's other platforms, like last week we talked about Society 6, where they had swear words and they had nude people and they had like all kinds of artistic things. Those are okay on other platforms, but not Merch by Amazon. So make sure you understand what the content policy is. Understanding the royalty calculation is not maybe as important because it shows you how much your estimated royalty is every time you make a listing, but it's kind of a nice to know. The promotions policy, that's going to apply to if you have a mobile app, like what you can and can't promote inside of the mobile app. Tools, facts, and legal, all of this stuff is in the resources. I recommend you click on all those tabs and read through them. We're not going to read through them for you on the call because we've already been in, it's almost, is it 10 minutes to 10, Shawn?
Yep, 2 hours.
Yeah, so we're in almost 2 hours just talking about Merch by Amazon. Really, we just showed you what's there. An important part of the calls that we always have is the Q&A and the chat. So Shawn, can you let at the Q&A, because I don't see that really when we're chatting. But is there any questions that have come up through this?
Yeah, Sarah asked if you register your brand names.
Okay, so if you're talking about Amazon brand registry, no, you don't have to register them. Can you? Yes, you can. If they are registered, there's some other benefits from them. When you put in a brand name, it shows up on Amazon.com just like it would as a regular brand name on any other listing. If you're talking about registering your brand names with like the USPTO or the US Patent and Trademark Office, that's a whole different conversation. Personally, I do not register my brand names, and the reason for that is because I use a different brand name for every niche that I'm in. So I've got dozens and dozens of different brand names that I use with multiple listings on each one. So it would just be cost prohibitive if I were to register them all officially, let's say with a trademark, for example. If you wanted to register them as copyright, you could file copyright on them. It's less expensive, but it's still quite a unnecessary procedure, which is optional, and you certainly could, but I don't recommend that you do. So I would mark that as answer.
Can you have more than one account in your household?
Okay, as a person, you cannot have more than one account. You'll run into troubles with Amazon on that. It's in the terms of service. However, in a single household, you can have more than one account. So there's lots of cases and examples where maybe a husband and a wife will have different accounts. So for example, at our house, I registered for Merch by Amazon. I've been using it. I've been on the platform since September. I applied last June of 2016. And my wife has applied for Merch by Amazon. So when she gets it, we're not in violation in terms of service. It is 2 different emails, 2 different people. We are in the same household. I've also heard about people registering one for themselves as a person and one for themselves as a business. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I guess technically it's probably okay, but I wouldn't recommend that anybody does that. You can do it. People have done that. Shawn, do you have any thoughts about registering multiple accounts on Merch by Amazon in terms of the same household?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't do it. I know all the trouble you have as an Amazon seller. You got to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to, have multiple seller accounts. So, they cancel people's accounts for like no reason. And I really don't know of many people who have gotten their accounts reinstated. So I really don't think it's worth, the trouble. Yeah,
I would agree with Shawn there. So I would say the risk is not worth the reward. the only possible benefit I can think of having multiple merch accounts would be to increase the number of listings you can have. And in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand, which we've been talking about, there's a link in the chat about, actually go through different ways that you can get multiple listings on Amazon.com and have them fulfilled through print on demand that don't require you to have multiple Merch by Amazon accounts. So for example, let's say you're in tier 10 and you have like 5,000 designs. If you want to take the other 4,990 designs and put them on Amazon.com as a merchant fulfilled listing and then cross list them out through Shopify, I show you how to do that in the book. So there's no real necessity or benefit to having multiple Merch by Amazon accounts other than getting through the daily upload limits. And like Shawn had mentioned, and I would agree with him, it's not worth the risk of having your account suspended or having trouble with your account. Especially Merch by Amazon, it's one of the few opportunities where you have the ability to get a listing on Amazon.com with no charge. There's no money at all, right? So it doesn't cost anything per month to have the listing. There's no cost to upload the design either. So I think there's no point in having the multiple listings. Somebody says, may I suggest that when your webinar is going over 1 hour, you give everyone a 5-minute break? Well, it is a live webinar. You can walk away from the webinar and then come back. We're not going to pause the webinar for a 5-minute break at the moment. Although normally there's kind of a natural break when we set up an account for Terra, but we didn't do this on this account because the approval process is more than an hour. Certainly, it's more than 13 weeks for her so far. Good suggestion, though. Shawn, do you have any comments about that after the hour? I mean, all of our webinars have been more than an hour. So do you think we should have a 5-minute break?
Aren't we like done? So what do you mean, a 5-minute break in the middle? Oh, I'll give everyone a 5 minute. No, I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good suggestion, but it's people have the option to kind of step away and they might miss 5 minutes of content.
Right. If you, yeah, I mean,
if you're registered as well.
If you take a break in a webinar, you know, people just leave. So.
Yeah, and then you can always come back as well.
You know, we put out replays of everything. It's all recorded, so.
For everyone that's registered.
Problem to see all of that.
Okay, as a person in the United States, what would you suggest is the best way to find key dates and holidays? Okay, I'm going to give my totally biased answer on this. Whether you're in the US or not, if you want to find out the key dates, pick up a copy of Merch and the World of Print on Demand. It's a book that I wrote. There's a link in the chat. Shawn, you could probably put that up again. It's over 131 pages, but included for free when you purchase the book is a list of over 1,000 time-based events. And that includes holidays, it includes like special days like Memorial Day, for example. It includes celestial events, right? So for example, here's a little freebie. On August the 21st of 2017, there's going to be a 100% full lunar eclipse that passes over the continental United States. And so that is going to be an event. There's already lots of people buying shirts for the full solar eclipse that's happening when the sun is covered up by the shadow of, or by the moon, I think. Is how that works. And there's all kinds of like things online. If you go to NASA and stuff, you can see the flight path for that, how much of the sun is covered up by percentage, depending on where you live. So those are driving lots of shirt sales, and that all the solar events and things are in that list of over 1,000 time-based events, including holidays. Things like religious holidays, civic holidays, holidays that are celebrated regionally, special days like Pi Day. There's 2 Pi days, right? There's Pi like the number pi, and there's Pi like pies that you eat. There's 2 different Pi days. There's all kinds of things. There's over 1,000 time-based events. They're included for free when you get the book, Merch, and the World of Print on Demand. There's also, if you're looking for niches and you're looking for ideas and you want to like think of creative things that you can put onto merch designs, there's also in the niche file when you get for free as a bonus with the book, Merch and the World of Print on Demand, there is another list of over 1,000 professions. So this is over 1,000 professions that people have, and it's different than other profession lists. Shawn has had different profession lists available before. This one is huge. It's more than 1,000, and some of them are just not available on other lists. They're just different kind of professions. Same thing with the time-based events. There's over 1,000 time-based events. So on average, that's more than 2.5 per day, more than 3 per day, I think. Because it is well over 1,000. There's many more than hundreds more than 1,000. How does my t-shirt on merch get promoted? Is it only via buyer search on Amazon? If yes, how should I set the product title features so the shirt gets shown for buyer searches? Okay, good question. So it's a regular listing on Amazon.com. So if somebody's searching for it on Amazon, it's going to come up. If they're also searching for it on a search engine, it's more than likely going to come up because Amazon does a great job at SEOing their site, their website, including all the listings. So you might find it up via Google or by Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or whatever search engine you're using. You can also find it on Amazon by search, and you can also find it on Amazon by drilling down the categories or by seeing types of things that are related to your shirts. It can also be shown up as things that bought this as, excuse me, so let's say somebody buys the, what is that thing called? The pop thing for the pop?
Right.
Pop jacket thing?
Right.
If you have your shirt with those search, the pop-up thing for your cell phone that we were looking at with the donuts on it, if you got a donut themed shirt and people buy your shirt along with one of those pop-up things, you can kind of tie your listing to that and it can be shown that way. So let's say if you're an FBA seller and you've got fulfilled by Amazon listings, it may be worth your while to buy a few items where you buy your shirt and also your item. So when people are buying your item, they're seeing your shirt, and then you can get organic search results that way as well without search. There is also a way to advertise for merch by Amazon using Amazon through Amazon Marketing Services, or AMS. And AMS allows you to advertise any, do sponsored products on any ASIN in the entire catalog, including ASINs that are not yours, which would be your merch by Amazon listing because it's sold by Amazon. They're the seller of record. So you can actually create sponsored product listings on Amazon.com through AMS. So that's at ams.amazon.com to sign up for that. There's also other ways, which I talk about in the book, to do that. But if you wanted to advertise or drive traffic directly to a merch by Amazon listing using Amazon services, ams.amazon.com allows you to do that, and Vendor Central or Vendor Express allows you to make an Amazon listing advertisement as well. You can also drive people to the URL on any of your listings. So if you had a different website, for example, or social media, you could drive traffic to your Merch by Amazon listings. There's a whole chapter in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand, about how to get traffic. And I go through multiple social media platforms. We go through Facebook, we go through Instagram, we go through Twitter, and Pinterest. So those are the 4 that I cover in the book under marketing. And I have multiple ways to get traffic, both free marketing and paid marketing. Both of those are covered in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand, in chapter 5. So hopefully that answers your question around marketing. You can market directly to the link. So basically any way that you can, anywhere you can put the link on the web, you can drive traffic to it. You put on an email attachment if you want, whatever. Okay, Justin asks, what is a good program to use to do your designs in? Okay, this is a good question. So I use, I do a lot of designs on my mobile apps. So I do them on my phone, my iPhone. And so I use the mobile app Over is probably the one that I use the most. Over allows you to save the dimensions that Merch by Amazon needs. It's 4,500 across and 5,400 from top to bottom, so 4,500 and 5,400. It also allows you to save transparent backgrounds and .png files right onto your mobile device, and then you can actually upload them using the Puffin web browser directly to Merch by Amazon. So that's what I use probably the most. In the book, I actually outline a number of different mobile apps that I use. So I use things like Assembly or WordSwag. I have to check my phone. Like, I don't always look at the name of them, but Vintage Design, PicMonkey, Pixabay. I don't really recommend using that for Merch by Amazon designs, but you can use it for inspiration if you want to look at types of things that people think of when you click on a word. Bling Text, I have multiple phones that I use as well. So WordDream, LetterFX, PhotoRS, Font Candy, the eraser tool. Adobe Capture is actually fantastic as well. So I'm just looking at the apps on my phone here that I use for Merch by Amazon designing. So Adobe Capture is kind of cool. The reason that I started using Adobe Capture is you can hand draw an image. So let's say I hand drew an image with pencil and a paper. And then if I want to create a vector image out of that, I could draw it on a page with pencil and paper and then use Adobe Capture to capture that image and send it to Adobe products like Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop and actually capture a vector image, which then I could resize without pixelation, which is kind of nice. So Adobe Capture is a great mobile product that you can use for Merch by Amazon. You can also load in images, either take an image, like take a picture of something, or you can load in an existing image. Adobe Capture, I think, is really fantastic for that. On my desktop, I use Photoshop mostly. So I recommend that people use Adobe Illustrator. If you're not using any programs and you want to pay for a program, use Adobe Illustrator. For my vector art, I use Assembly. Not Assembly. I use Assembly on my mobile phone. I use Affinity Design. So Affinity Design is kind of like Adobe Illustrator. It allows you to do vector images on your desktop. In the book, though, I go through multiple programs, right? I go through like GIMP, if you want to do it for free, Photoshop. I go through Affinity Design, Affinity Photo. I go through things that you can use on the web, like Canva, to design on your browser. PicMonkey, LunaPic. There's all kinds of different programs that I mentioned in the book. There's actually like a whole chapter listing out multiple different programs, not only the programs themselves, but there's links to the videos, so you can do like follow-along tutorials. So there's like hundreds of tutorials that you can get to from links in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. This shows you how to use some of those programs, and both free and paid programs for creating designs. So I'd say probably the best design program out there, if you have unlimited budget, would be Adobe Illustrator. I also go through tablet programs that you can use, things like Pixelmator. There's Corel, what's it called? Painter. There are all kinds of different programs. They're all listed in the book, Merch in the World of Print on Demand. So, Justin, that's a good question, and there's a lot of programs you could use. There's also websites like Make Merch. It's a great website. People use that. It's not one that I use myself, but I think it's a good website that people could use. There's also a Merch Designer. There's also services that people use like Design Pickle, Brand Strong, Floxy. There's all kinds of different services you can use. There's VAs that you can do. You can use virtual assistants. And I mentioned in the book multiple ways to hire a virtual assistant and how to get virtual assistants. So we've also talked with Shawn about Freed Up. Freed Up is a great service you can use for virtual assistants as well to make designs for you. So while you're sleeping, you can have designs being made for you. Okay. Francis said, in our merch application is still not approved after more than 6 months. Should we resubmit our application using a different email? Well, that's a tough question. So Francis, I know it can take a long time to get into Merch by Amazon. I recommend that you do, in fact, apply again. So apply for another Merch by Amazon account using a different email address. However, it can take a lot of time. 6 months to me seems like a little bit long. My question for you is, are you checking, have you tried to log into your account at least once every week or two? And the reason for that is if you're accepted into the Merch by Amazon program and then you don't upload an image for 120 days, and after 120 days, they'll close your account. So it's possible that you could have been in the program, not tried to log in, and then got kicked out of the program. If that happened, you'll be waiting forever because you're out of the program already. So when you apply, I recommend personally checking once per week, once every 2 weeks even, to see if you're accepted into the program. You check to see if you're accepted by trying to log in to the login and password that you use to make the merch account. So that's how you would check. I think that concludes all of the Q&As in the Q&A section. Shawn, was there anything in the chat section people Last.
I think we got it. Websites you can buy designs at. Buy just regular designs.
We can go to like Getty Images and pay a lot of money for designs, but there are design websites like Design Candy, for example, that you can go to and buy a la carte images. In the book, Merchant World of Print on Demand, there's actually a list of places that you can go and get pre-made designs, that you can get virtual assistants to make designs for you. There's websites where you can purchase existing designs and get the rights to. You can also commission designs. I mean, you could go to like 99 Designs. This can be kind of expensive, but if you wanted to, you could get custom designs made there. I don't recommend that one. You could go to Fiverr if you want to save a bunch of money. I don't recommend Fiverr either. The reason is Fiverr, it's a high probability you're not going to get an original design. You want original custom designs for merch by Amazon. You want to make sure they're not copied, they're not used by somebody else. But in the book, there's a whole chapter on how to outsource. So there's multiple ways on how to get designs. There's a question, what book? So there's a book called Merchant World of Print on Demand that I wrote. There's a link to it in the chat section. It'll probably be also listed in any kind of replays or emails that you might see the video in. When you're maxed out on uploads, waiting to tier up, do you get throttled then? No, I think you get throttled, and this is just speculation, okay, because we can't confirm any of this stuff because Merch by Amazon doesn't tend to provide this information publicly. But if you have available slots that you're not using on your daily uploads, I think that's when you get throttled. If you've maxed out your total number of uploads for your tier and you're not able to upload more, I think that you're not going to be throttled. However, if you've maxed out all your uploads, and unless all of your designs are selling on a regular basis, in which case you're probably going to tier up pretty soon, I would recommend taking off designs that aren't selling and replacing them with new designs which may have a chance of selling. You may want to give them a period of time to get some traction and make some sales first. So if you don't make a sale within 90 days, Amazon will take it down for you. But if you want to wait like 30 days or 60 days yourself, or any kind of arbitrary number of days less than 90, and take it down yourself and then replace that with a new image, especially if you're maxed at your tier max, but you still have daily uploads. If you take one down, you get a daily upload slot freed up, then you can upload a new image. So I would recommend cycling through images if you hit your tier maximum. Hopefully that helps, answers that question. Easiest platforms or programs to learn design. There's actually multiple links to videos on how to learn design in the book, Merchant World of Print on Demand. Most of those are through YouTube just because they're free. There's also links to Vimeo. If you're not familiar with Vimeo, Vimeo is like YouTube. It's a video service. There's videos you can watch. And I have links to multiple series of videos on how to learn to design on multiple platforms. So if you want to learn to design Illustrator, there's a link for that. If you want to learn to design using Photoshop, there's a link for that. If you want to learn how to design on Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, there's links to that in the book. All of those links are provided there. And the reason for that is they're common questions. People always want to learn how to do design. There's also a community section in the book, chapter 6, I believe. Chapter 6 has multiple YouTube channels and people that you can go to, including links to their channels. And some of those are designers. So for example, Charlie Pangus. Charlie Pangus is a great designer in California. I met with him when I went on the Merch Madness tour. I went to like more than 18 states and more than 40 cities across the US, and I met with people talking about merch and Amazon and just print on demand in general. So Charlie Pangus is a great resource. He has multiple videos on him making designs. There's links to those in the book. There's other artists that show you how to make designs, the process for making designs, and there's links to those videos showing people how to make designs, again, in the book, Merchant World of Print on Demand. Another thing too, if you're maxed out on your maximum number of designs, you can still upload designs into Merch by Amazon and have them uploaded directly into Draft. So if you are still maxed, but you still have designs you want to upload, you can still upload them into Draft. There's no max at the moment that I'm aware of for the drafts. So you can upload your designs in a draft, and that way when you tier up, have them already on Merch by Amazon. You just convert them into live listings and have them go live. Is there a yearly cost? So no, there's no cost for Merch by Amazon. It's a free program. It's free to apply, and once you're in it, there's no monthly fee, and you can upload. There's no cost to upload your designs. It's the same with any of the pods that we've looked at, with the exception of what Society 6 charges you $1 to verify your account. That's the only exception to that. Any discount available for buying the book? So no, there's not currently. There was a discount if you pre-bought the book. This is before March the 6th, which is when it was released. And I think there was also one other discount, but that's not available now. So there's currently no discounts for the book. It's $57. It's the cost of less than 8 shirts. So if you sell 8 shirts at $19.99 on Merch by Amazon, it will pay for the book. So if the book helps you sell just 8 shirts more than you would have otherwise, then essentially it's paying for the book for you. And I'm confident that if you read the book and follow even a fraction of what's in the book, you could probably make an additional 8 sales over time for sure. Lots of people saying thanks, so thanks to you guys. Any designs where you can buy design? Yeah, we've got to cover that.
All right, guys,
Shawn,
awesome.
any other comments?
Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll send all these links out that we talked about, so don't worry about losing them as soon as we send out the replay, as well as the link to the replays of all of our past videos.
Oh, and a hot tip for using Merch by Amazon: the more designs you upload, the more sales you're going to get. So max out your daily tiers, your daily uploads. That's the #1 tip for Merch by Amazon, by far.